All right, hello everyone. Thanks for coming back to my channel. So today we're going to go over the trade that I took today. Today was actually it was a nice trade today. The only issue was that I hate trading in a choppy market. It just takes so much time, but it's whatever. So let's just get into it. So so I haven't changed strategies. I'm just, strengthening them, making them better. And, I've learned to get rid of indicators. Okay. And the only thing that I'm dealing with right now are confluences. And the confluences are the chart patterns, what price is doing, price action, and supply and demand. So I'm looking for supply and demand zones and price action, basically. So today, we're just going to go over it. We're going to look for supply and demand zones and trade according, because I feel like that is the best way that you can explain your trade in the market. If you can't explain why you take a trade, then newsflash, you probably shouldn't be, doing that. But so I wish I could have like some music playing, whatever, besides the point. So right now I'm currently just looking for supply and demand zones. If you don't know what a supply and demand zone is, I will give you an example. And sometimes I mix it up, so if I get it wrong, I'm sorry. So this right here, to me, is a supply zone. And what I call supply zone is a little candle, a little green candle, and a big red candle to the downside, not to the upside. So this to me is supply. This to me is supply. Just this. Just that. The green candle and the red candle. To me, that's supply. Oh my gosh. To me, this is supply. Now, supply zones can vary depending on what your range is. Some people take the supply zone to where their start and the end of their supply zone is like here. Like for me, I do that. That's this whole thing you consider my supply zone. Some people may consider it this. Some people may consider it this. Like some people may consider it, just like this, because that's where price drops. But to me, anytime I see familiar candle that's like this, that's literally a green candle and a red candle to the downside. To me, that is a supply zone. And not to me, but I'm pretty sure it's considered a supply zone. What really matters is the pressure, is the amount of, pressure. Or I guess the volume. So this right here could also be considered supply zone all the way down to that red candle, obviously, because price goes all the way down. So let me just get on more into it. So we're on the 29th day, and I'm looking for I'm looking for a small green and a big red, or a small red and a big green. Okay, so currently I would call this a supply zone. And now, so the reason why, let me get the other indicator. This one right here. Oh, let me favorite it. Hold on, guys. Because it's actually easier to do it on this. So, okay. So, we're going to call this supply zone right here, because it's a little green and a big red, but the zone has now been invalidated because of this green candle right here. It surpasses it, and the wick and the body closed above the supply zone. So this zone has been invalidated. This, I can say it's a supply zone, but the only reason why this kind of candle sort of trips me up, this one right here, is because the green candle is below the red candle. So, and I don't even know if that even matters, but to me it does. I'm very particular, so I really want to narrow down the trade to highest probability. So to me, I personally would not consider this a supply zone, only because price here has gone above it. Okay. It's okay if it's like maybe a little bit, but price came above it and went down. This could be considered like a cute little liquidity zone, but I wouldn't consider that a valid supply zone personally, just based off like experience, like practicing this, back testing it. Now this I would consider a supply zone. It's a little green candle and 3 big red candles, okay? To me, that's a supply zone. It's a supply zone, okay? Because it's a little green, sort of ish big red, but the only reason why I'm validating this as supply zone is because 3 candle stacks like come immediately after, okay? And the price is below the green candle. So I'd call that my point number 1. I didn't regard either one of these as supply because there is no other red candle following to the downside, like immediate or strong. So I wouldn't consider that a supply zone. You could consider this a supply zone as well, but something about the body of this candle, of the red candle, being within the green candle, it just shows me that it's maybe not as strong as a supply zone. So that's that's why I say it's confluences, and I'm probably wrong about it, but I need it to look like this, at least like this, because you can see like the difference between these 2 candles and these 2 candles. They're almost equal, but I need the wick to be long and the body to be a little bit short at the bottom, compared to this where it's like completely in the middle, So I wouldn't consider that a supply zone. Now, as we get into this, we now see some demand zones. This is a demand zone right here. Little red, big green. And let me color code them so that we know which one is going up and which one is going down. So this is actually green. This one should be red. Okay. Just to distinct them. Okay, so we're getting that candle. Okay, we found another supply zone here to the downside, especially as you see how you see those 2 at least red candles. See how that is just all the way on top? That's what I considered, supply zone. And so you see how this is another demand zone? Like, these are all the confluences. You have to like watch price here. Okay, and we're just rooting for the highest probability. So because the price closed above this supply zone, that supply zone is now invalidated. We're currently with 2 demand zones and 1 supply zone. I guess I should have told you the goal of it. So the goal is to have up to 4 zones for either supply or demand. So if I immediately see 4 supply zones and 3 demand zones, I'm going to go in for a sell for a supply trade, because the supply seemed to be showing up stronger than the demand, if that makes sense. So continue. I mean, price today was completely terrible. This may look amazing to other people, but it's not to me. It's just too choppy. So we have another demand zone right here. And then we found another demand zone right here. Sorry, supply. Supply zone here, supply zone here. So far we have 3 supply zones, 2 demand zones, okay? I hope I'm not confusing. I don't know if I want to consider this demand zone. No. Right now we're either looking for supply or demand. Okay, so this is another zone. I would consider this a supply zone. It's a very ugly supply zone, but it's a very subtle one. So far we've gotten 1, 2, 3, 4 supply zones. And I am just looking for 2 consecutive red candles for me to get in. But I think price invalidated this zone, right? Let me see, I'm not sure. I don't remember. Okay, yeah, so price invalidated this. I mean, I can see why it did, because there wasn't even enough pressure to the downside. So that zone is out. It's been invalidated. Now we just look for more zones. And let me tell you right here, this supply zone is not invalidated because price wicked out. It wicked out. It's not invalidated yet. But we do see another demand zone to the upside. So now we're equal right now. But price is still boom, bam, invalidated. Cut that out. We are just looking for one more. Wait, what are we looking for? One more supply zone. Okay, amazing. So price has invalidated this demand zone, leaving us with one more demand zone. So it's showing us that supply here is pretty strong. It's invalidating all that, okay? We're looking for another zone. I like how it's like immediately at that. As you can see, price closed out below that. Now that's literally invalidated, even though it's really subtle. Really invalidated. So all our marks for demand zones have been invalidated, and we are left with supply zones. 3 supply zones. We're now looking for one more to confirm. I know this is so intricate, but trust me, it's honestly not as hard when you're into it. I guess you can consider this itty bitty place a demand zone. But okay, we have now seen. No, I wouldn't consider that as a supply zone. I know, very, very particular, but you have to be very high probability thinking, okay? Literally, it doesn't matter. This is the smallest wick, but you know, it's just, even this is a confirmation still, you know, as a supply zone, but I just need that green to be just a bit above the red. Okay, so because of this right here, okay, because this right here, even though it's wicked out a little bit right there, just a little bit, but I know this is a doji candle, but it's still closed green and it's still above the red candle. So this right here to me is a supply zone. So now I'm waiting for just 2 consecutive reds. And this honestly just gave me the confirmation. Although, yes, you could have gotten in here and probably taken more profit of it, like a $2 move. But we're not here for trying to make more. We're trying to have the highest probability setup. So I go in for a trade at the end of this candle because it's honestly showing me a strong supply zone. And I get in because price has been very, you know, just not very choppy. So see how it consolidates a little bit in the middle. You know, price didn't really know where to go, up or down or whatever. I just go in for a dollar move. Just a dollar move, because that's usually when price goes down like drastically, like when it goes down really fast, it still has the potential to move a little bit more down, at least $1 to $2. So based off experience, based off what I've seen throughout the market. So I just go in for $1 profit, and boom, bam, I exit at, let me see where I exit at. So I enter at 587.48 and close at 586.48. Should be up here somewhere. Yeah, like right there. Somewhere here, 48. And that's $1 move. Like, I know some people want like $2 move, $3 moves, whatever, but it can be so, but that's what, I'm not trying to chase the market. I think this is preparing me for being patient with the market and only going in when I see a high probability. You know, I could have definitely entered at market open, but that honestly would have cost me anxiety that I don't want to have. Okay, so all these points right here, we got first supply zone, second supply zone, third supply zone, fourth supply zone. You enter in on the second red candle, and that trade only took, it was so quick. It was literally so quick. It only took 3 minutes. Like, I panicked just a little bit, honestly just a little bit at the green candles, but I know that like it was trying to like trip people out. So, but yeah, that was my trade for today. I know this is a super long video, but I really just wanted to go in depth on my supply and demand. Well, this one is like a supply. This is a supply trade. So yeah, thanks for watching my video. Don't forget to join the Discord. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.